All right, it's episode 14 of the Medellin podcast. My name is Andrew. I've got Joel, as usual, the permanent fixture.
Shucking and jiving.
Today we're going to have Drew, D-O-double-G, on the podcast. We got a bunch of shit on the table, and we're going to be talking about that soon.
Good shit.
It's good shit. And we're drinking some rum, drinking some beer. Drinking some rum, and drinking some beer. Drinking some rum, and drinking some beer on the Medellin podcast, episode 14. Yeah!
Taught him everything he knows.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Medellin podcast. My name is Andrew Messia from Medellin Buzz and Red Door Studio. We are in the Red Door Studios lounge. Yeah. I'm over here with
Joel. That's me. You guys should know by now if you don't watch the other 13 episodes from JoelDuncanPhotography.com and also RedDoorStudios.com. Actually, it's StudiosRedDoor.com. And over here we have the man himself,
Drew Crawford.
Drew Crawford today in the studio. Before we get to Drew, let's talk about where you can find us for all of the listeners that have been following us or listening consistently.
Your mom, my mom.
Yeah, and maybe Peepa's mom.
Yeah.
You can find us on Spotify. Just look up Medellin Podcast. Or on YouTube. You could also find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcast.
Google Podcast,
yes sir.
Castbox. YouTube at tinyurl.com / okay, no, but on YouTube, just put in Medellin Podcast. Facebook page is
Medellin Podcast.
And Instagram. And by the way, we ran a promo. We're running a promo right here. We'll talk about that a little later. But get on our Instagram page right now. Check out the promo to win everything that's here on the table. It probably won't be here when we finish the episode. It'll be on the floor broken and stuff, and we'll be dancing on top of it. But that's a whole other thing. So let's get this shit cracking?
Yeah, let's get it cracking. So today we have a special guest. Like always. I always say we have a special guest. I guess everyone is special.
Yeah.
In their own way.
Short bus special.
But Drew Crawford.
Yeah.
We call him D-Rock.
Yeah.
We call him Drew Hill.
Dwayne.
Drew Down.
Yeah. D-O-double-Drew.
Drew D-O-double-G.
Yeah, we got all type of shit.
We got a bunch of names for Drew.
Name for him.
But he is a white guy.
Yeah.
In Medellin.
Mm-hmm. Like me and Andrew.
Yeah, from the United States. Mm-hmm. Drew, tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yes, I mean, as you guys said, from the U.S. Originally was born and raised in Michigan.
Woo!
The land of the Great Lakes, Joel's neighbor in Canada there.
Yeah.
And,
Ontario. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been living here in Medellin 2 of the last 4 years.
Okay.
But I know we're going to get into that story a little bit more and excited to be here with you guys.
So you wait 2 of the last 4 years, as in you came here 4 years ago?
So the first time I actually came here was as a backpacker, as many people do.
Yeah.
We came through just for 1 week and fell in love with Medellin.
Okay, cool. So you were like the first. No, you weren't the first. Andrew was the first Mexican backpacker to Medellin. I was the first.
I was never a backpacker for your information. I don't even own a backpack. You know that too.
That's lies.
I don't have a fucking backpack for backpacking. When have you ever seen me in a backpack for backpacking? I hate backpacking. I hate hostels. I hate the smelly people.
Felipe, can you Photoshop Andrew's little backpack in here later? That little. Oh, you gave it away, didn't you? You bastard. You
my Renault.
Your Renault.
Yeah, that was my basketball bag.
Anyways, whatever. He's a fucking backpacker. Mexican backpacker. First Mexican backpacker to travel the world. Andrew Messia. Look him up.
I don't even like to travel. Yeah. Medellin's my home.
All right. Anyways, before we get one thing we're forgetting. Sorry, we gotta hold on. Today, live and direct from the duty free in Medellin. By the way, the only country that you can touch down, as far as I know, maybe you've got some Eastern European countries or Asia, which I haven't been to, or maybe Africa, but at least in countries that I've been to, and I've only been to about 20, that you can touch down from another country, walk through duty free, and pick up some duty free bottles to stay at home with. And so we picked these up, Captain Morgan private stock. I know Captain Morgan usually sounds like, it's not really great, but we're drinking rum today from the duty free from our trip in Mexico, and we've got 2 bottles.
Yeah, we got 2 bottles. And for those of you guys that don't know, the premise of the show is that between 5 to 10 minutes there will be some sort of an alarm. Drew, get ready to fucking drink.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this we start off, we try to have the more serious questions up front. Let's see where this one goes. So, yeah, let's just, you did the intro, you're from Michigan. How old are you?
28.
28. Yeah, man. I'm just letting you know, man. Me and you look the same age. Black don't crack. So
Actually, you look older.
Minus the gray.
who looks older?
Drew. Let's let the audience. Let's let the audience.
This is not
Who
the
looks
audience vote.
Yeah, press this button for Drew older, or that button for Joel older.
And don't let these little gray hairs fool you. Anyways, let's get right into it. So you came here first time in?
Would have been in 2015.
Why?
So I did a 7-month backpacking trip around South America. I started in Brazil.
Okay.
And I made my way down Brazil, went over to Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and actually Colombia was my last country.
Okay.
And I fell in love with the people, and I always knew I was going to come back at some point.
More than any other country?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I thought you would have maybe gone to Bolivia because you were taller there and better looking than everyone else, but you chose to come here. All right, cool. And what was it? What was the main thing? The main thing that made you want to come back here and spend an extended period of time?
I think it's the people. It all comes down to the people. Like the Colombian people here are just so friendly, so inviting, accepting,
Okay.
and then they're very curious. Why? Being a foreigner, you could live in the U.S. You could. Be in Miami, like a lot of Colombians want to go there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the opposite. I'm actually here. I'm planting my roots here. It's like, so it's that curiosity and that warmth of the people that really kept me out.
Well, curiosity killed the cat, though, right?
The Drew isn't a cat. His spirit out. Well, actually, yes, he's a lion. Aren't you a lion?
I am.
Show that lion, man. Where
Damn.
did you get that?
Actually, I got a question about your tattoo because I thought it was really awesome when you posted it. Did you get that here in Colombia or?
Yeah, actually, so there's an artist right down the street here, not too far away, Studio 13 on Calle 10. There's a Venezuelan artist named Leo.
Okay. Big up to Leo.
Yeah, Leo is very talented. He's a realist. I saw his work and I
so
knew
real
I wanted
that
to
he
get...
put blue eyes on a motherfucker.
Yeah, that is actually pretty fucking
nice.
dope. Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, so I guess one of my questions, because I've heard you speak Spanish, you have your own blog or your vlog on YouTube. It's called Hola Drew, right?
Yeah, so actually on YouTube is my name, Drew Crawford.
Okay.
My Instagram page is Hola Drew.
Hola Drew on Instagram, Drew Crawford on YouTube. But your Spanish is really good. Where did you learn Spanish? Did you learn it before coming to Medellin or when you were here?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Just like a lot of people in the U.S., during 7th and 8th grade, you're forced to choose a language, right? So at my school, I learned Spanish. And I got to get to high school, and by the time you're finishing 10th grade, it's like you don't have to take it anymore. It's like, okay,
yeah.
I was thinking, like, we speak English in America. Why do I need to keep learning Spanish? So I did my 4 years, and I was done. I got to university, met some incredible exchange students from Ecuador and from other parts of South America. And I saw the influence of Latins arriving to the U.S. And I also saw it as an opportunity for business as well. And I wanted to travel. So between meeting some cool people, the opportunity to travel, and the opportunity to do business in Latin America, I wanted to take Spanish up again. So I started studying Spanish again, did 2 years in university. And the real transformational breakthrough for me was actually going to Ecuador. And I did a study abroad in Quito. And I lived with an Ecuadorian family for 5 months and went to university and actually didn't take any Spanish classes. I actually took classes in international business, culture, history, but all in Spanish.
Amazing. And
that was like my breakthrough, was like being forced to speak Spanish and speak on the level of other Ecuadorians. I was the only gringo in the class.
Are you still, I mean, that's amazing, firstly. Are you still studying Spanish, or do you just like learn by, just experience right now?
Right now it's just practice, but I do want to get back into it and actually like perfect it, right? Because I feel like I'm still missing certain tenses, and I know that I'm learning every day. Every single day I'm learning, but I'm not taking any specific classes.
I mean, I feel the same way. I was actually thinking about that as one of my new, call it stretch goals, is that I feel like my Spanish is stagnant. I'm picking up words as I go along, but I'm self-taught also. I don't know how good my Spanish is, but I've taught myself just about everything other than 6 months in a course, and I feel like for us living here, we have to take that shit to the next level. Because every now and then I meet a foreigner, and they're just like speaking like Joanna, like she came on here. She's from Romania, and people think she's Paisa.
Oh, wow.
Legitimately.
I thought she was Paisa, and I'm like a native Spanish speaker. I thought she was Paisa.
Dang, it's a piece of my freaking. I just filled my teeth yesterday. A piece just chipped off, just so you guys can.
From a filling.
Yeah. Anyways, throw that on the floor and let's keep it going.
Put it in the prize pack.
Put it on my
filling.
Yeah. Get a piece of Joel's filling.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Shot time. Let's do it.
Drew, you gotta learn to pop the chest because you can't just sit there, right?
Wait, that was popping your chest? He went like this.
So that's in the little salsa vibe, huh?
All right.
Let's do a shot. First
so we're
shot.
doing a shot of our first shot of rum on the Medellin podcast, episode 14. Cheers.
Drew, thanks for coming out.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I had I'll jump back for a second because I said, Drew, before coming here, remember our conversation, our first real conversation was we sort of went out on a double date and you didn't bring a nice date for me.
No,
Drew showed me this like girl, and he, you know, how these girls on Instagram hold the camera at a certain angle that a girl could move from a 2 to a 10. That's exactly what happened. And he showed Andrew and I at the basketball court. You know, the camera angles. They pulled it. Remember? He's like, Andrew, I gotta go on a double date. I'm bringing my girl. She's got a friend. She's from Venezuela. And he showed us this photo, black and white, of course. And Andrew's like, yeah, no, I can't make it today. He's like, Joel will go. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And I show up, and Drew, I don't even know how to go there because I don't want to offend anyone. But this girl, like, the camera took off like 30 pounds from her, and she was like a chain smoker. And I think the only word I ever said was hi to her. And then, you know, that was our like, or
it was a short date.
It was a very short date, but thank you very much.
Hey.
I actually lost my train of thought of the question I wanted to ask you. Oh yeah, I know what it was. I think we sat down before these girls showed up, and you told me about what you were doing in the U.S. And I remember something about car. I may have made this shit up. I thought you sold cars or
car rental. Yep.
Car rental.
Yep.
Okay, tell us, what were you doing before here? Because it sounds like you've done a 360 turnaround in terms of what you do. What were you doing? Call it.
What, he's selling cars now?
Huh?
He's selling cars now?
Not now, before.
You said he did a 360. That means that he went all the way around.
180, goddamn. You see, Andrew's teaching me math now, man. This is Captain Morgan, fuck you.
He's selling rental cars in fucking Medellin.
Came down here to sell selling old rental cars.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
As I was saying, actually doing the study abroad in Ecuador, I went back to the U.S. and during that final year before graduating myself from Michigan State, I was dreaming about Latin America, dreaming about returning. So that entire year, I was planning actually a trip to go backpacking. So did my 7-month backpacking trip. That's when I came to Colombia that first time. But at that point, you know, you run out of money at some point. Yeah. You know, and I only had saved so much money, and mom and dad weren't there to pay for my bills. So I went back to the U.S. and I actually got a job as a branch manager trainee for a German car rental company. We're running
branch manager trainee.
Yeah. So
well, trainee is one word, but I did two.
Branch manager. So basically, it was a 6-month program. They threw me in because I knew Spanish and Portuguese. They threw me into the Miami airport where we were handling anywhere from 300 to 400 reservations a day. Brazilians, Argentinians, Mexicans, people that usually didn't speak English, right? So I was getting a ton of practice there. I mean, that's also where I bettered my Spanish. Yeah. And so I worked at the Miami airport. They threw me at the Orlando airport. And within 4 months, they actually gave me my own location at the Tampa International Airport.
Oh, awesome, man.
So I did that.
How old were you then?
24.
Well, that's pretty damn young. 24, I was still in jail.
Me too. Anyways, but yeah, that's good. At 24, I was guiding tours in the jungle and playing with snakes and being like...
I was playing with snakes in jail. No.
So we all played with snakes. Snakes in jail, snakes in the bush. Snakes in the bush. Anyways,
so you had your own branch, and then obviously you saved up money.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. I honestly basically had... I get to the point of leaving that job and coming to Colombia full time, right? But it gave me great experience. That was the biggest thing. I was managing a team, a multi-million-dollar business at a young age, and I wasn't necessarily fulfilled in the job, but at the same time, it gave me great experience. I got to practice my languages, and it opened my eyes to what I like and what I don't like and what I want, going forward.
And you've changed a lot. You feel you've changed
absolutely.
a lot.
I want
to tell you, motherfuckers, that Drew's changed a lot.
Yeah, Drew has changed a lot since the time that I first met you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your what was your opinion of
Drew was a young guy that came out here. Yeah. I think we went to we were in Parque Lleras.
No, we started somewhere before that. Wandering Paisa.
Wandering Paisa. Yeah. He came in with his slacks and blazer.
Belt though, leather belt.
A leather belt.
Tucked.
Nice leather belt. shirt tucked in. Deep tuck, like
buttons.
a deep tuck.
He had like, motherfucking buttons.
Buttons. He was Benjamin Buttons.
Yeah.
And big.
And what did he say? He's like, let's do some drinks or whatever he said.
But the girls like that, you know,
because they love a man that goes to church. Dressed like he's going to church.
Yeah, the girls like that. I'm like, yo.
And that's the way he dressed at the date, and I felt underdressed because I had a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
And he comes up, slacks, leather belt, buttoned up shirt, probably to the last one. He may have taken it down because he was relaxed by then. Looking all fresh, shiny fucking shoes, and he's like, we're going to go dance reggaeton. And I'm like, motherfucker, like that? I expected him to like slip and fall down and shit. But now you look at Drew, and I'm like, 360, relaxed.
360, no, 180. I'm trying to teach you math today.
180 turn around.
And he's our money guy.
No, you still wear the leather belt? What belt you got?
Damn!
Bling! All right, cool. No, but seriously, man, like, I remember a friend of mine, Chris, he went to Vallarta. I was living in Vallarta in Mexico, and he came to visit, and I was pretty high-strung, and my friend looked at him, and they're like, Joel, man, we thought you were high-strung, but this motherfucker. And I think that's something that Latin America does, is it helps you to just, like, maybe relax and be you. We're so accustomed to putting on this thing, like you got to go out in the U.S. and Canada, you got to dress up nice to get into this line and do this and whatever. And I feel like me, I think I came into myself early, but you, I think I've seen you progress to a point where now I think you're like, you know, you're rolling. You're you.
I'm comfortable. Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel that? Do you feel you're more comfortable here?
I think that's a good point, though, in terms of Latin America. I definitely feel that. It's one of the reasons that's drawn me back to it, is that I do feel like I can be more like myself and be more free and, you know, and be, it's more, they're much more accepting here.
Yeah.
And I feel like U.S., in terms of personalities, you have to fit in a certain box and a certain, you know, dress a certain way to be accepted, socially accepted. Yeah. And I think, especially Colombia, I think there's a little more freedom in kind of just being who you are.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So I guess you worked in the rental car industry back then. So now, what are you doing now here in Medellin? What do you do for a living to sustain your livelihood here and your lifestyle? I know you travel a lot, so what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I mean, actually, I'll take you back to the end of the car rental days, there, right? Though, so I had a vacation planned to come back to Colombia. To see a friend in Bucaramanga.
Girl?
Wait,
of course,
a friend?
Yeah, a friend.
Yeah, let's be clear. Hey, by the way, let's put a pin in this. Put a pin in this.
She's just a friend.
Yeah. Yo, listen. This is a vulgar, not X-rated, no fucking Catholic show. You say it like it is on
X-rated, Joe. It's not X-rated. It's maybe rated R.
Okay, R.
Children.
No nakedness, no
no children. Children, go get your parents.
But don't be afraid, Drew. Everybody wants to hear the real shit.
Absolutely.
So you were here to bang. Okay, you were here to hang out with your friend.
So I had a vacation planned to come back to Colombia, 2-week vacation, and the day before I was leaving on vacation, I kind of confessed to my regional manager that I wasn't happy in my job, that you know, I was really I needed this vacation to contemplate things, and when I come back I was going to make some, you know, decisions. And she basically took that as a sign that when I come back I'm going to quit. So instead of letting me go on the vacation and paying me for that time, they said, you know, ciao. Yeah. They fired me the day before my vacation, so I went home, packed up all my stuff, and took a one-way ticket to Colombia and stayed.
Bro, that sounds, honestly, and I mean...
Wow, I didn't know that was going through your brain when I met you. That's crazy. Yeah, that's...
I mean, at the time, I was living off, you know, little savings I had, credit cards.
You know what happened to me?
Trying to make things work, right?
Yeah. Bro, I took a year off. I really didn't intend to go back, but then after I burned through all my money, I figured I could go home, continue my job, bank quite a lot of money, and come back and start my shit. But literally 2 weeks before I was supposed to go back, I got an email from the vice president of marketing from the company, which I'm not going to mention. And he said, due to some restructuring, your position is no longer available. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, suckers, I got unemployment insurance I've been paying since I'm 16. I'm getting a severance package. And so I hit up the HR, and she's like, yeah, you don't get any severance because in the fine print it says if you voluntarily leave, you don't get anything. So I'm like, well, fuck them. I'm going to go after the government and get my, you know, my money. Yeah. And literally they said unemployment or employment insurance is just like any other insurance. You have to continuously be paying to it. So if you voluntarily go off of unemployment and it's a year passes, you no longer qualify for, if it doesn't matter if you're paying for 40 years, you don't qualify for a cent. So I got stuck here with literally next to $0 into my name, no insurance, no settlement. And the same thing sort of happened to me. So my world just got thrown. So it's the same type of story, man. I know what that feels like. You know what I mean? It's a tough one.
But I would say at the same time, it was liberating for me. Like I felt free. Like I really honestly I did want to leave the job. So I was looking at other options, but in the end, I mean, I ended up here. This is almost 4 years later now. So in the end, I think it worked out well, and it's crazy how things happen in life.
Right. So I guess you left your job, or you were forced to leave your job. You were forcefully left, and you got to Medellin. So what happened next? Like, what did you do for money? Because obviously savings ran out, or you don't want to use all your savings.
Sure. Well, I think the first thing is I found a cheap place to live. I rented a room in a 3-bedroom apartment with some French guy on La Frontera.
How'd you find that, by the way?
That was actually with a...
Keep going, I'll pour it up. Keep going. How did you find that?
So I found that apartment through Comparto Apartamento.
I know
The first and the only time I've ever used it, but it worked out okay. It was a great room. They had a king-size bed, a desk, 2 walls of windows.
Man, you had a lot of
$300 bucks. For $300.
Oh, okay.
It was not, good. At the time, it was probably $250, right? It allowed me it gave me time, right? It gave me time to kind of figure my stuff out. Like, I thought, 3 months. I had a 3-month visa. $1,000 of rent for those 3 months. Like, and I could figure my things out. And
you had $1,000 in the bank?
Yeah, I probably had at that time maybe a couple $1,000s in savings, right? And a couple credit cards with decent limits.
Credit cards, thank God for them. Seriously, that credit cards, the entrepreneur's crutch. I know that from experience.
So one of the things that you mentioned right there, we're gonna continue on what you're saying, and I just want to point out because from a few call it financial advice books and lifestyle design books, one of the things they say, and I strongly encourage anyone, whether you're living in a place permanently, you're planning to go relocate or whatever, unless you're balling out, which you're on your own, you're a class of your own, you're the 1%. One of the rules, I think, is you should never spend more than 30% of your income on housing. It should be 30% or less.
Yeah.
So for those of you planning to relocate, if you know that you're only going to have $900 a month, don't be spending more than $300 on your rent. And I think a lot of people do that, and then they end up in a really bad place because that's like #1 rule. So anyways, continue.
Yeah. So what were you doing?
So at the time, the first 3 to 6 months, I was just learning. Honestly, I was trying to connect with as many people as possible. I kind of lucked out and got connected to a small group of entrepreneurs here, and they really... Cheers.
Cheers. Connected. How did you find them, by the way? Finish your sentence, then tell me how you...
Yeah, so I'm actually trying to remember exactly how I got into this group, but somehow or another I got into this WhatsApp group, and it was they're a group of entrepreneurs that were doing very well, probably... five figures plus in revenue per month. Like they're making decent money, and especially living in Medellin. Like, and so there's other people that were just like me that were just trying to figure shit out. But we're all the same mindset, right?
Yeah.
Same growth mindset, and just going to lunches, going to dinners, right? Even when I couldn't afford it, I didn't have the money and I didn't have any income coming in. Like going to these dinners and investing in these relationships is what really turned it for me.
Do you mind sharing the name of that group?
So it's not really an active group anymore. It was literally just like a group of just people that were, I don't even know who's the creator of it. Like I'm still in the group, but there's no don't post in it anymore. Yeah.
So I have a question about that too. Is that and we asked Nate and Kyle in Mexico, who are both digital nomads, about this. Is you've traveled lately? You were in Chile. And you were in some other places. You were down in Argentina, and a lot of those places are hubs for digital nomads for valid reasons. What do you think Medellin compared to other places in terms of finding that? Because I find that one of the main reasons I stayed here is the hustle spirit. That everyone, whether it's from Andrew or whatever, I mean, that's how me and Andrew ended up becoming big business partners and stuff. You talk to people at a party or at a dinner or wherever, and then they tell you what they're doing. They tell you their story, and you're like, holy shit. I'm not alone in this thing. That's the way I think. I want to be here. I want to be around these people, because if I'm around these people, the average of the 5 people that you hang out with, I could make something. Do you find that Medellin is the best, or do you think there's another place where you felt more alive business-wise, hustle-wise?
That's a good question, actually. And like I said, I just got back from a trip. I went to I went to these places to actually help answer that question for myself. Was before I plant myself in Medellin and really figure out if this is the place I want to invest long term.
Yeah.
I wanted to visit the other places like Santiago de Chile, Buenos Aires, Montevideo in Uruguay, and these places because I mean they're known for being entrepreneurial hubs, right?
Yeah.
And I came back to Medellin, so. For me, people in Medellin are hungry. Now, not just the entrepreneurs, the people that come here, but the locals, right? And I have a lot of respect for the corner hustlers, the people that are peddling fruit around the streets, that are collecting cardboard. I know you guys did a video about that. It's just you feel the energy here,
and
it's contagious.
You didn't feel that in the other places?
Not as much as here. I mean, it's still part of it, but I felt like everyone wants to improve, and they're on this growth mindset, and they want to develop, and there's so much potential I feel like here, and that's one of the reasons I keep on coming back.
Because we talked with Nate, and I mean Nate, one of our friends. I don't know if you met Nate. He's down in Sayulita on the beach right now, and when Nate's here, Nate's switched on, more clients, doing this, doing that, and now he's in Sayulita, and I agree. Listen, happiness and everything, I would put that above money, above everything else. But in terms of hustle spirit, if that's the point in life you're at, it's very, very important to find that place and to be around those people. Yeah. And he sent me a private message saying, hey man, when I'm around you guys, man, it's I just feel different and whatever. And I feel like for those of you who are considering if to come to Medellin, if you need to be around a bunch of people that are hustling nonstop, and you really want to break out from the mold of you and your friends back home who are doing the same monotonous things, talking about the same things, I would encourage you just come here for a month, right? Rent an Airbnb, come to some groups, come sit in the podcast.
Contact us. We got a couple apartments too.
Yeah, we can rent that to your ass, make some money.
Well, I guess dancing around the issue.
Yeah.
What were you doing for money?
Sure. So the very early stages, I wasn't really doing anything, right? So I mean, at some point, I think I worked for you guys for about 2 months doing content writing.
Dude, I totally forgot.
I forgot that shit. I forgot you wrote.
Did you guys know that you wrote for us?
I wrote some blogs, some blog posts for you guys' site. I designed websites, $300, $500 WordPress websites.
We all did
my
that.
God, now I remember that.
So I mean, and I've even worked remotely for companies like a startup company that booked travel for high-level entrepreneurs. I worked remotely.
What's that called? What was that called?
That was called Pana. It was actually it's actually a Spanish word. And I did that for about 7-8 months, and I've done a lot of stuff. But I mean, right now I do marketing consultancy. Specifically, YouTube advertising is our main focus.
You gonna help us to market this?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Our fucking podcast sucks.
Do it. So so basically helping generate more sales and leads. I focus more on digital products right now. So courses, high ticket information products.
High tech?
High ticket.
High ticket.
$1,000, $2,000 courses.
Okay. And you help people to get those out there.
Exactly. So experts that know a certain topic, whether it be about building a business or increasing your confidence or whatever it is that they're an expert on, and they create a digital product upon. I'm an expert on helping them reach more people through
YouTube,
through paid advertising. YouTube is my specialty right now. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. So anybody watching this right now who needs help with that, Drew's contact will obviously be on in the description, in the YouTube video, and wherever else we put stuff. So that's amazing. We might actually need your services.
Yeah, and well, on that notion, I guess the business notion. So, being a business owner, I guess, are you a business owner in Colombia, or are you a business owner in the United States, or are you independent contractor? Sure. How do you operate?
So I have an LLC in the U.S. and I just run everything through that.
Okay.
But I contract through either agencies or I have direct relationships with clients.
Okay.
And then that's all this feeds through the U.S.
And they pay you to the U.S.
Yeah.
So can I ask you just something about taxes? Because this is, I think most people, including myself for a very long time, we're very ignorant about taxes.
Sure.
But the IRS is not ignorant about you.
And they will not be ignorant. They will come after you.
No,
so what do you do?
So the IRS, so this last year, I wasn't, so 2017, I wasn't as conscious about it. like being like, okay, so there's the foreign income exclusion.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on it, so don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
But basically, 2017, I was in the U.S. for like I was in Puerto Rico for a month, and they count that as the U.S. So that screwed me for that year.
Oh shit.
This last year though, 2018, and even this year now, 2019, I was more conscious of it.
Yeah.
So I just go to the U.S. less than 30 days per year.
And then you do what happens with that?
So basically, you don't pay taxes on the first 100,000 that you make.
Yeah.
And you're making like what, $500,000? What you got? What you pushing?
What
I
you
wish.
pushing?
What you pushing?
I wish.
Who's you
I know,
pushing?
he rolled up here in a
back
fucking Lamborghini.
Yeah, rolling up with that fucking onyx stone or whatever that is around your neck and stuff.
no,
And by the way, everybody that watches this show, my family, who's like 50% of the viewership of this show, I apologize for swearing that much. I watched a little episode as we were editing, and I realized I swear about once every like 15 to 20 seconds when I speak. I'm very sorry about that. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you know what they say about swearing though. People that swear a lot
Have a high vocabulary?
or a higher IQ. That was a study.
Einstein swore? I can't see Einstein going,
like a sailor, bro.
really?
Yeah.
What is it? C
like-
is equal to MC Hammer? What the fuck was this thing?
C
What was
is
that?
equal to MCM.
MC, I don't know what this is.
Never
MC
mind
squared
my
is equal
partner
to-
in crime over here.
Yeah.
So, talking about your business, I'm always interested in business. And one of my favorite things about business is marketing and sales. How do you get your clients? Since you're in Colombia or you were just traveling, I know you were just in Argentina. How do you get your clients?
So currently, right now, I'm contracted by an agency that specifies in YouTube ads. Okay. So we have a whole lead gen funnel on that side.
So wait, for those, because I know that I have my own blog, and we have people out there that are probably listening too, and they're like, man, I wish I was out there like these guys, living their life and making a life.
Living their best life.
Drinking rum on camera.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Drew, pop the fucking titties!
That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so when you said that you're part of this platform or whatever it is, how does someone that isn't part of that get onto there?
I think that's a good question. I think the first thing is just putting yourself out there, right? So, if you guys follow me on social media and stuff, I think the biggest thing is just putting yourself out there and just sharing like your knowledge, your expertise, your thoughts. And I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, right? So I believe that if you put yourself out there and that you're sharing these things, you're sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your interests, that naturally the people that are looking for that, or maybe they're not looking for it right now, but sometime in the future, the first thing they're going to think of is you, right? When they're thinking of that. Joel's an amazing photographer, right? He posts amazing photos. So when somebody needs to photograph their new apartment, they're going to call Joel.
Top of mind.
Yeah, top of mind.
So I guess the law of attraction starts with action.
Yeah.
Like action, because without action, there is no attraction.
There you go.
I just came up with that.
Yeah. You should write a book, Andrew Messia.
So I'm writing it.
Honestly, for you to say it like that, and did you read The Secret?
Actually, I've never have. I watched about 5 minutes of the show, and it was a little bit too corny for me. I turned
the
it
book
off.
was great.
Okay.
The book was great.
Yeah.
I get the concept. It's great that it took 14 episodes for somebody to mention the law of attraction, and it's so funny. Like, I know you probably have some law of attraction stories too, where you wrote something down in a book or something, and it 100%. Came through word for word. Another thing, I think one of the biggest things is people contact Andrew and they contact me. They probably contact you to ask again, how are you living this best life, drinking rum and making a show about a city? And one of the things is for people to understand, like you said, there are points where you have zero money. There's points where things are down, but you have to have an end goal. And you also have to have that vision that you're attracting things. And what you said is one of the biggest things that I think most people miss. You need to put shit out to the world. If you want to be a fucking baseball player, but you're at a desk, writing emails all day, and no one knows you want to be a baseball player, no one will know. If you make, T-shirts for cats, if no one knows you make T-shirts for cat, how the fuck are you going to sell T-shirts to cats? I think one of the biggest things is people are so no one can, and they're so ashamed of saying what they really want to do and what they really like.
They're too judgmental about themselves.
Exactly.
People judge themselves way too hard, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. They worry too much about what other people care. I know that what I put out there is not perfect. It might not be the best. Even like we're talking about this earlier in the podcast, like just getting that first episode out there, and then the second episode's gonna be better, and the third episode's gonna be better. It's building that momentum, right? But it's never going to get better unless you take that first step. So not knowing the end game, actually, just knowing the next step. Like, what is the next step that you want to take? Because I don't think any of us know our end game, right? Like, we have an idea where we want to go, but we don't actually.
But I think it guides. I think one of the things with business, life, or whatever, if you can see and imagine yourself in a certain situation, not the end game.
Sure.
Actually, one of the things that in terms of business and life and whatever, is you don't really need to know how you're going to get there. The how figures itself out. You actually need to know where you want to be at the end. And then every step along the way just happens. You know what I mean? It's happening for you, it's happening for me, it's happening for Andrew, it's happening to the others in this room right now. But I think for most people I think that the people that would actually watch this, other than people that are living in Medellin, are those that are sitting there like, oh, I want to travel, I want to live my best life, I want to not work for anybody. You're going to fucking suffer, but have the end goal and start putting it out there. Don't be afraid to put it out there, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's...
Actually, I want to put something out there that I haven't put out there into the universe enough.
All right. Yep.
I'm going to be running the Medellin Marathon next year.
Awesome.
Sweet.
It's my first marathon. I've done a 10K, but this is going to be the first marathon, so I'm actually training for it. I've been training.
Encourage you to do that.
I've been training for it.
Yeah.
So that's law of attraction right there, and I will run it, and I will fucking beat everyone.
Beat them.
Or die.
Down, yeah.
Probably,
beat them or
probably
die
first.
Goggins. Goggins.
Dude, that's a really good book, by the way.
You actually mean like hitting people to get to the first line.
Yeah. I'll
punch
trip
him in the face. Punch him in the face. Hey, by the way, we forgot to take our shot.
Oh yeah, let's take
I poured myself an extra big shot on this one. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, this is a huge shot, Joe.
Hey, man, to the law of attraction and to putting it out there.
Hey, cheers, man.
So right now, and Andrew is all about the business. So am I. So right now, you make how do you earn 80% of your monthly income? Where does that money come from?
So the majority right now is contracted with the YouTube ads agency, right?
Okay.
So I work with them exclusively on YouTube ads.
Okay.
And I have my own client stuff, but it's not related to YouTube ads. It's related to funnel work. So building sales funnels, writing copy.
Okay.
But yeah, the majority of it is coming from the YouTube ads agency.
And that's a great question. How many hours a day do you work?
It depends. It could be some days are more. Some days are more than 8. Some days are 2 to 4. Right? It just depends on the day.
Okay.
But overall in the week, anywhere from 20 to 40.
And you're at the 4-hour work week?
Yeah.
That shit's great, but it's funny that everyone...
Shout out to Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, amazing. He's influenced all of our lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You read the 4-hour work week.
Yeah, totally switched our life upside down.
And you know what? Tim Ferriss, I don't know if... And I've watched interviews with you. One of the things... You read or watch or listen to the 4-hour work week thinking, oh my God, I just want to work 4 hours. And Tim Ferriss has this amazing formula of how he works 4 hours. And Tim Ferriss, you work like 400 hours a week. And it's funny that after you read the book, you work more than when you worked before, right?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
You know what's funny about that is when I read that book.
Goosebumps, man.
Yeah, in 2010, when I landed in Bogota, I started I had my freelance business where I was freelancing, making websites on WordPress. I was doing social media management. I was doing SEO. And SEO really caught my eye because I didn't think many people were doing it right. But then I read the 4-hour work week. This was 2010, by the way. This was late in the game. I read it, and I hired my first Filipino, what do you call it? Outsourced contractor. EVE.
Queen.
And Evie is still I still pay her.
Yeah.
She's still my contractor. She's not my employee. She's my contractor.
That's awesome.
Since 2010, it's 2019. 9 years. Evie out there, I love you, and I will go out there and meet you one day.
Yeah.
And you will have my babies. No, I'm just kidding. She's married and got kids.
No, Evie, no, don't do this. But you know what? And in this room, there's us here who've already done stuff. We've got other folks in here, like Michael's laid down on the couch over there listening. And I don't know, Michael, have you read the 4-hour work week?
I have not read the 4-hour work week.
Michael's not.
Felipe, this book.
Have you read the 4-hour work week?
Borrow the book. Just download it, motherfucker.
You can rip it off.
Wait, listen. These guys right now, haven't read the 4-hour work week, and actually, they work with Andrew and I, and we're gonna make it a fucking mandatory read.
They're gonna quit their job though after they read this book.
That's great. That's great. They quit their job if they as Andrew said, people say, if you give all the information, like you give a lot of free information, will people do it? Yes or no?
No.
No, they won't.
The action.
So the chances are and Mike And Felipe, I'm calling you guys both out on this. Quit if you motherfucking want to, but there's a 50% chance or more that they won't do it. But if they do, God bless them. But where's my point to that. Why I know Mike's going to do it is Mike confessed to me, I hope like the president of the University of UPB or whatever's not watching this. Mike's already outsourcing. This guy told me he hasn't done his homework in 2 years. He outsources his homework, man.
Shout out to Tatiana.
Yeah, he is out here outsourcing
He outsourced
homework.
it to one of our workers.
Guys, if you want to hear about some outsourcing crazy shit, man,
all right.
you just gotta talk to me, Andrew, and Drew. We can tell you some outsourcing stories.
Yo, by the way, audience, if you're hearing rain, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can, but
He's farting. He's farting.
He's peeing on the window.
But
No, it is actually raining pretty hard outside.
Yeah, it's raining really hard, so I'm sorry if you are hearing rain.
Let me tell you, this is not the type of show where we apologize to the audience. Fuck you guys. Listen, just keep listening. Listen louder.
You know what I hope that somebody is doing right now? That I was doing the other day. I was on the airplane, and I downloaded an episode and I listened to it, and I thought it was so fun. I hope that whoever's on an airplane listening to this, I'm with you. I love that shit. Yeah, it's such a waste of time.
No, but it's an amazing waste of time if you're planning to live and work here. So
hey,
one question before we move on. One of the things, because we were talking about the money you're making, you said 80% comes from the YouTube stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions I have for you is, if you had your friend, your brother, your sister, you have a sister, and they're planning to come here, right? They're like, I just want to check it out for a month or two. How much money in US dollars, and then you can translate it to pesos, would you say that someone needs to be comfortable?
Sure. I mean, there's different levels of comfort, right? Okay. First of all, I think if somebody's like, if brand new entrepreneur, someone's coming for the first time, they just want to they want 3 months to figure their stuff out. Yep. I mean, for rent, you're looking for just a room and apartment. You're not going to be balling. You'll have a nice room and apartment, a furnished apartment. Yeah. $250, $300 a month for that apartment.
Shared?
Yeah, shared.
Okay.
There's other people.
What neighborhood?
Lorales or Poblado.
Okay.
I think those are the
253. So that's in pesos about... Three is about a million pesos.
A million pesos. About $1 million pesos, to say.
Okay.
Food, honestly... I love menu del dia. Like, for me, I'm a huge fan of menu del dia. Like,
what is menu del dia?
So menu del dia is, you have a fresh juice, you have a soup, you have a plate with your protein, chicken, beef, or pork, with rice, your salad, maybe some beans as well on there, and a postre, like a little dessert after as well. So.
And that goes for what? How much?
Depends on what neighborhood you're in. If you're in Lorales, it's going to be about 9 mil, so about $3 or less $2.50. Yeah. In Poblado, you're looking at about 15 mil. About $4 or $5. Yeah. I mean, anyways, you can have a really good healthy lunch. It's well balanced for less than $5. Mm-hmm. So I usually always eat at menu del dia places for lunch. Yeah. Breakfast, I'll cook at home. Something some yogurt and granola, and then dinner I'll usually go out or order Rappi. Okay. So basically, you could eat very well for less than $20 a day. Yeah. And eat very well, like.
And that's if you don't even cook.
Yeah, that's if you don't.
That's if you don't even cook.
That's breakfast. I don't even consider that cooking. It's like literally some yogurt and some granola.
Yeah, but we know you don't eat breakfast, Drew. You told me earlier you don't. Yeah,
sometimes.
Don't trick people.
Sometimes.
You don't eat breakfast?
He doesn't eat breakfast.
Occasionally, depends.
He calls it intermittent fasting. He just doesn't eat.
I usually eat a banana. Banana is like my breakfast.
Okay.
But it's a late breakfast. It's like when I can't withstand waiting for lunch.
So wait, so you're saying you can eat for about $20 per day.
So that's $600.
No cooking.
$600.
$600 in
for the
food.
month. For the month.
But that's food.
Yeah. Plus the rent, so that's $300. I mean, looking at $1,000. If you're in your early days, being an entrepreneur and like just trying to figure stuff out, like
you don't need to eat 3 meals out.
No, that as well. I was gonna say you don't need to go out either. Exactly. So like you don't need to be like going out partying like you.
Oh wait, wait. Let me stop that. You're not coming to Medellin.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, who the fuck ever you are. You could come here as Mother Teresa. You're going out in your first month.
But you don't have to spend a lot of money.
You're not cool. I'm just going to go to Medellin and stay in an apartment. Come on, man. Stay at home.
Hold on.
Mother Teresa was an entrepreneur.
That's assuming that you're going to be renting your own apartment or actually sharing a room in an apartment.
You're not sharing a room. You're renting a room in an apartment.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not sharing a room.
sharing an apartment. With 5 other men.
Yeah. So, I have a question about that because I know that you've rented rooms and apartments and stuff. Have you ever had a crazy story about renting a room with shitty fucking roommates?
Like you woke up and they were spooning you?
Because not that far. I think for me, like just being we'll get to that in a second.
It's funny I say the word spooning and it triggers the drinking song. Anyways, keep going. Tell us your
in terms of just cleanliness, right? So everyone's had roommates at one point or another that that are just dirty, right? They just
like Joel.
They just leave dirty dishes and just like For me, that's the biggest pet peeve for having roommates is this: people aren't clean.
Did you shave your balls before you moved to Medellin, or did that happen when you came here? No, for real, man.
No, come on.
Did you shave? Because we have a friend, Kyle. He talked about stretched out ball here and stuff. I haven't heard those type of terminologies in a long time, and so I want to know. Like, this is hygiene capital, bro. People, I've rarely smelled. I could tell you, I've been here for 8 years. I may have.
So we're trying to educate some people out here.
Yes.
So educating the people that want to come out here. If you're fucking Greenland, where they got green fucking pubic hair, please shave that.
Wait.
The women do not like that.
Let's give some context.
And the men don't like that either.
Let us give some context. I've been here for 8 years, and I can, on one hand, I can count, or maybe two hands, the number of times I smelled.
Wait, what?
What do you call bad breath? I'm forgetting my English. Halitosis.
Halitosis. But halitosis is a disease. Like
how the fuck do Colombians dodge that disease? I don't get it.
Well,
and they got so many people in Toronto with the halitosis.
Have you noticed
I can actually tell you by a fact that they did. We haven't. Like I've known people with halitosis here.
Your ex?
You have it? Okay. You have it?
No, I don't have it.
No.
But a teacher in high school, the music teacher of all people, had it. It's like, okay, like now this note, and everyone was like,
that's not the note. Do it like this.
I think it's all the vendors on the corners with the chicle. Like they always have some gum and some mints.
No, but one thing I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed it. You probably have, but like everywhere you go. Somebody has a toothbrush in their purse or in their pocket. Yeah. When they go to the bathroom, they're brushing their teeth, like in public. Sometimes.
Andrew, what do you have in your purse?
I've got batteries. And hold on. What else I got?
Batteries. Alan Gongora is our lawyer, and if anybody wants to talk about that, please speak to our lawyer, not to this show. But wait, let me come back. Let me make this shit real serious. I'm being serious about this. Okay, as soon as we take the shot. Hygiene, by the way. Yep. I asked you about if you shaved the balls. Strictly because I remember, true story, I was 3 months into my trip from Canada, coming down south. And my friends, Chris, Nikki, and Ryan, they met up with me. They met up with me for a month because we were going to do a month trip. We're down in Honduras and Nicaragua. And I picked them up at the bus station. And we're going to go down, go to the beach and surf and all this shit. And, we're standing on the bus or, your hands there, you're flopping around and stuff. And we get to the apartment and I look over and they're laying out their cosmetics. They're laying out their clothes. And at that point, I'm 3 months deep, like hardcore backpacking. And I pull out a fucking Ziploc bag that looked like it's seen some brighter days. And I pull out like a deodorant stick and a little like sample perfume and something else. And I see them all staring at me. And I look over and Nikki, she went like this. She went, Joel, seriously? You got to do something about them armpits. And I'm like, what? And I look down and she's like, you got to trim those motherfuckers. And they were like all like flary out and whatever.
Oh, you mean you had buckwheat in a headlock? I
had buckwheat and I had 2 buckwheats. And when you come to Medellin, you realize like, man, if we go to the gym, me and Andrew go to the gym, firstly, people are dressed like they're going to a fashion show. Yeah. And then secondly, they got nobody here. I don't know if Colombia.
Well, the guys shaved their legs.
The guys shaved their legs. Yeah, so did that change you? Did you find
No, absolutely not. No.
Do you shave your legs?
Show us your chest hair, Drew.
I don't have chest hair. I don't have chest hair.
Show the chest,
I don't have chest hair, man.
No, we're not stopping. I want to see Drew's chest.
I don't have chest hair.
Who wants to see Drew's chest?
Nobody's seeing it because
you guys have seen it at a few finger parties here. You guys have already seen it. I mean,
nobody's seeing it because
ladies. Man,
we'll save it for the DMs. If you want to see my chest, you send me a DM.
At the end of this, he will pop his chest and show the chest here.
Wait. How is he gonna do it?
Like this?
Oh, wait. Are we doing another shot? We just did a shot.
No, you won.
Okay. All right. So I guess moving on for your fucking chest hair.
Yeah.
I know that. I've seen your videos. Actually, you know what? My mom's seen your videos. I talked to her today, and she's
your mom's
like,
seen everything on the internet.
Yeah, my mom's like, oh, you're interviewing Drew. I'm like, yeah, Drew. And she's like, not Zach Morris. And I'm like, no, it's not Zach Morris. She's like, yeah, I know, Drew. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, you seen his videos? Yeah, he's like, he's got so many funny videos. And your premise in your videos is to dispel or debunk many, I guess, stereotypes and misconceptions about Colombia.
Sure.
And let's talk about some misconceptions about Colombia, because I know many of our listeners might be in Colombia, but I think many more might be out of Colombia that want to come to Colombia and are thinking like, holy shit, what is this country about? I'm looking at these guys that speak perfect English. One's from Canada, one's from California. I'm Colombian, Californian. One's from fucking
Wisconsin,
Michigan.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Michigan. So let's talk about some of these stereotypes.
Do you count tip? Anyways, go ahead.
So I mean, in terms of the stereotypes, I mean, I think the biggest one is that I think the Netflix has put it's attracted tourists to Colombia to learn more about it, but at the same time, it's put this stigma on it that it's a country of narcos, right? So I think one of the biggest stigmas that foreigners have about Colombia is that it's a country of narcos, and that like everyone here is like just running around like Pablo Escobar, and that they're
like a Wild West,
and they're cool with it. They're cool with drugs.
Yeah, I mean it's actually, I mean, most Colombians are totally against it, right? Most Colombians absolutely hate this show. They won't even watch it.
I won't watch it.
Yeah. I've watched it because I like it, and I think it's entertaining.
But
in terms of showing the real Medellin, showing like real Colombia, it's nothing like what it is. But to a certain extent.
Well, I agree and I disagree, because Colombians do love it.
Love what?
The narco fucking culture.
Okay.
The narco culture. Because every time we got cable TV, I haven't had cable TV in like 10 years. But since I got rich, I got cable TV. And
the new rich.
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss talked about you.
I'm nouveau riche.
Nouveau riche?
Nouveau riche.
Richard.
I'm a nouveau riche. So I got the Colombian fucking package of all their channels on. And literally, I go through RCN, I go through Caracol, I go through all these Colombian channels, and all I see is fucking narco fucking novelas.
It's what sells.
It's what sells. And you guys love it. You cannot tell Gringos not to love it either. You can't tell Netflix not to fucking show that when you are showing it on your fucking TV.
Yo,
because you guys are the fucking disease.
You gotta stop it. Those that are disease. But wait, let me tell you, I don't understand what Drew's saying, but here's a true story. We were in Mexico a week ago, and it happened on multiple occasions. We were all having fun. We're bouncing around, like all happy. And we wear these T-shirts because we love this city. We represent this city.
I rep Medellin hard.
I rep it hard. It's just like I have to switch up my wardrobe. Andrew has a monotonous wardrobe.
I do not. I got Medellin on my back. I'm out. If I ever get a tattoo, it will say Medellin.
That's some hardcore shit. Not me. Mine's gonna say I love mom. And and what happened is we walked up and this group of guys said, "Where are you guys from?" Actually, that was the first one. No, they didn't. No. I'm talking about the guy. We were in Puerto Vallarta, and the guy's like, "Hey, you guys." And no. Actually, he didn't say where he's from. He walked up to Andrew, and he pretended to have a straw in his hand, and he pretended to sniff cocaine off the word Medellin by tracing it with his nose like this. That was one thing. Wow. So that's the reputation that Medellin has. And
and by the way, that guy was from Sinaloa.
I know, and he was drug related, of course. I'm gonna tell you why he's drug related.
I know why.
He was because he said if we need it, and this happened multiple times. The first place in Mexico City, a guy came up to me, his teeth are grinding. And he's from Sinaloa also, and he said to me and Mike, we're standing there, and he's like, listen, you guys treated me well in Medellin. You know, my family, my this and that. And if you need anything here, man, I mean anything, you just let me know. And he's like on top of me, I'm like, let me know. I'm like, yo, we don't need anything, we're cool. Then that thing in Cancun, and then the other one, which was you and Felipe, we were in a house music party, and they're like, you guys from Medellin, and they start going like this. And Felipe lost his mind, and Andrew strangled the guy, and the shit just went off because Andrew just held him by the neck like this and be like, I don't think the guy didn't really have much wind to speak and continue his sentence. But it seems like everywhere we go, no one goes, Medellin, the outdoor escalator. Oh, Medellin, innovative. Oh, Medellin, the hub of people change. It's drugs. And I think that what you're saying, Stu, is we have to change. It's us, man. It's up to us to change that shit. Absolutely. But anyways, so Stereotype, drugs.
So I mean, I think the main thing is the drugs, right? So with foreigners, there's two different types of people that have a stigma with Colombia. Colombians also have a stigma with their own country.
Yeah.
And I think that is why the reason I actually do my videos in Spanish is because what I found that the audience that the most resonates with my videos is the Colombian audience. I've made videos in English and Spanish. People, the gringos that watch my videos in English, they're like, this is, whatever, it's cool.
Another gringo talking.
Exactly. So, but the actual Colombians, whether they're living in Colombia or they're abroad, they actually appreciate, a foreigner coming to their country that rather than living in the U.S. and actually, falling in love with their country and sharing their culture, right? So it gives them a new perception on their own country. Okay, like maybe it's not as bad as I think. Like I think a lot of Colombians actually, when they go to the U.S., whatever, they're living there for 10 years. Like I get a lot of comments and messages all the time. They're saying like, hey, like, I thank you so much for showing love for my country. Like, I would love to come back. But the thing that's actually holding them back from coming back and living here is just income, right? Yeah. They make more money in the U.S., they make more money in Australia, they make more money in Spain, right? They're not living here in Colombia, not because they don't like it or they don't want to be here. It's because they can't make enough money here to support themselves in the life that they want.
I think like, I mean, I was born in Guyana, South America, and I moved around a lot as a child, and I claim Canada as my home because I've lived more years there now. But I find like, and Andrew I think pointed this out, he says, he thought that Colombians and Latino people were basically dickheads because of when he lived in LA, how it's like a crab in a barrel, like you're Colombian, pull you down. And when he comes here, right, you thought that people were very friendly. You thought that, I think that people who left in the bad days still picture the bad days. Mm-hmm. And people who left when they're like kids, imagine if you left with your mom and dad who left at a really bad time. They've told you stories about how horrible the place is. Colombia, Medellin in particular, and we got to talk about Medellin, has done a 180, right?
I learned that.
It's done a 180.
Here's to the learning curve.
It's done the 180, and now things are different. But there's still people that are stuck 180 degrees backwards.
Sure.
And they're still talking the same rhetoric. They still have the same rhetoric from 10, 15 years ago, and the place has changed. So people like you are changing it. Cheers.
All right, so I guess that's one of the stereotypes.
Next.
I think
Talk about the narco.
I think narco and drugs is the big one. I think the second one is that the women here are plastic, right? So yes, I think there's plenty of women that are very fake in terms of plastic surgery, nose, boobs, butt, the entire thing, right?
By the way, I love you all. If you want, AndrewMacia.com.
But there's plenty of beautiful natural women here, right? Yeah. So I think that a lot of guys come here looking for the plastic, Colombian model, Barbie-looking woman. Yeah. But I actually prefer the natural woman.
Me too.
Like I just prefer naturally beautiful women. And Colombia has
80,
tons
I want
of
them to be perky.
Say that again.
When they're 80, when I'm 80.
When they're 80 is that
and they're
80. Let me just put this on record. Andrew said that
when they're 80, I want them to be perky. When I'm 120 and they're 80.
Andrew, you said when they're 80, you want them to be perky.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Gravity always wins, ladies.
80-year-olds.
I know.
Okay,
my balls are down to the ground.
And Dave Chappelle said, Botox the balls.
Yeah, I remember
Would you do that, Drew? Would you Botox your balls?
No, fuck no.
Because you can be cool.
Oh, it's time for another shot.
I was pouring it anyways.
So, I got a question for you, Drew. We're talking about stereotypes in Colombia. Obviously, there's many stereotypes about Colombia. We talked about drugs. We talked about women. What about safety? A lot of people out there think that Medellin might not be as safe as many other countries, especially if you're from Europe. But if you're from the United States, obviously from Michigan, I mean, you guys got Detroit, what the fuck. But what do you feel about safety in Medellin? Okay. Have you ever had any close encounters? What's that been like?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest thing, the rule here in Medellin and Colombia in general is no dar papaya, right? So don't let anyone take...
Wait, can you repeat?
You have to pray for it? Fucking hell.
Slow motion.
The thing is right there.
No, the thing's right here.
This happens on the Medellin podcast all the time. Just ignore it and we'll keep on going. Fuck this shit. Now I gotta go home and change my goddamn clothes. I practiced this trick.
My beer's still not open. Can you pass me?
Oh shit, I opened their beer. So is that is this ultra H?
All right, time for a shot. Time for a shot.
God damn it! I smell like. Oh, that.
I don't have a shot. I don't have a shot.
Hold on, Joel.
I don't have a shot. We're talking about safety.
I've been like saving the shirt all week to go out with this.
Stop. We're talking about safety in Medellin. Tell me about your experience here.
So I think the biggest like the rule here in Colombia and Medellin is no dar papaya. It's basically don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of.
So no dar papaya.
So like
no
walking down the street, staring at your cell phone, texting, like not paying any attention to anyone around.
I do that very often.
Okay.
In Manila and in Poblado.
Okay.
But you got some bunk ass telephone. You ain't got no iPhone.
No one's to rob you.
No,
Look at your fucking. You can't even call an Uber with your
fuck
telephone.
You. Just because
Fuck
I'm
yourself,
big,
you do a better
just because
job.
I'm big, those motherfuckers don't want to fuck with me. Anyway, we were talking about you don't want to be staring on your.
So yeah, I mean, I try to avoid situations where my attention is not focused on my surroundings, right? So like, obviously looking at my phone, looking at directions, whatever. But like, I won't be walking down the street like just texting. Like, I try to be more aware and to avoid the situation where someone could easily just come up and just grab it. Like usually the crime here in Colombia, most of the time, is nonviolent, right? Pickpockets. So the one time I've been robbed in Colombia and in Medellin was after Nacional. They won the Copa de Libertadores in Parquilleras.
Pickpocket.
Oh, that was like 2000.
So I had my phone out, Snapchatting at the time, whatever it was. And
you're a millennial.
Yeah, back then.
The
whole 1 month I Snapchatted, right? Yeah, so I put the phone in my pocket. A minute later, it was gone, and I was like I didn't even feel it happen. Like I was drinking a little bit. Like
let me ask the audience something. 10 seconds. If you had to rob one of 3 people, would it be Andrew, Drew, or Joel? Please vote. Andrew, Drew, or Joel. Who would you vote? Who would you vote to rob?
And why is it Michael?
And why is it Michael? That's abstract because no one can see Michael. But once again, for everybody out there, we want you to vote. Who would you rob? Andrew, Drew, or Joel?
Hey, cheers
and why? Cheers to that.
Salud.
Who would you rob? That's an Instagram.
Hopefully not me.
Guys, I'm sticky as fuck. That beer just exploded in my head.
But to go off of that story though, actually there's a little bit interesting story with that. So I was robbed that night, right? So I was like, fuck, my phone's gone. That's a terrible experience. I didn't blame the people. Right? I think the first thing is they blamed other people. For me, I was like, I was drunk and I was in a popular place and I wasn't paying attention. It's my own fault.
Okay.
So I got home though. I got my iPhone. The secondary phone was iPhone 4 at the time, and I pulled it up. I find my iPhone app, right? So the next day, actually contracted an Uber and we drove. I found the signals in El Centro at some like rundown hotel. That they found the signal of the phone. I was like, okay, the phone's here. So went to like one of the little police stands near the park in El Centro. Got 2 police officers with my Uber driver, and we're like going through this hotel, knocking door by door to try to find my phone. And about half an hour in, going through like 3 or 4 floors, the signal went out. And so we're like, all right, we can't really find it. We don't know where it's at. It's in this building somewhere. We don't know where. So we left, went and had breakfast with my Uber driver. And about 15 minutes later, the signal started like picking up again. It's like, okay, we're on the way. Moving. So the Uber driver, we jump in the Uber with the Uber driver, super cool guy, by the way. And we start following it. And like, it ends up in some like abandoned parking lot in the middle of Centro. Like, and I ended up not getting my phone back, but spent a half a day chasing this phone around. So the moral of the story is, if you first of all, pay attention to your surroundings. Don't get drunk, too drunk where you can't, keep track of your stuff. Yeah. And then second of all, if you do end up getting robbed, just write it off. Just don't waste your time. You're not gonna. First of all, you're not going to. If you do find it, what are you gonna do? Unless you have the help of the police or something else. Like there's
no, and even with the help of the police people in Medellin, just again, we always talk about how safe this place is. Mm-hmm. Police here will not go into certain neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So if you see your iPhone zooming around in Comuna 13, or there's some worse areas than Comuna 13. And you contract the police, they'll stop at a certain point. So it'll be entertaining. It's a story to tell.
Yeah.
And you meet a nice Uber driver, but even cops won't go with you into some of those areas.
Don't do it.
At the end of the day, it's just material.
Yeah, it's just
exactly.
It's just a phone.
Like,
I mean, you could replace that. You can't replace
actually.
your life.
I'm actually kind of surprised hearing that story. Like you
actually went through.
Yeah.
The whole.
I was young and stupid, right? I mean, Mom, sorry, I know she's watching this right now. So
that's before you had the goatee or after?
The what? The goatee?
The goatee.
It was before
time,
goatee?
I had no facial at the time.
No, yeah,
Jesus Christ.
That's how young he was.
Listen, if Drew rolled up in Central with no facial hair, looking for a phone, they would rob his ass a second time. I'm letting you know that right now.
Come on with those shoes.
Yeah. Drew comes out in a Speedo and shit. Yo, I'm telling you, I know that we're gonna put this out on Instagram, asking people who you'd rob. I'd rob Drew. For sure, I'd rob Drew.
All right, so I've been here 9 years. Joel's been here 8 years, and you've been here about 4 or 5 years, right?
4 years.
So that makes him 15.
More or less.
We've all had different situations when it comes to our love life and dating life. So obviously, Joel is black. Obviously, I mean, look at him.
Am I?
And obviously, I'm fucking ugly.
I'm the black white supremacist.
Everybody knows that I'm ugly. But when we talk about a beautiful white man,
Milky
with
and
some
sheep
blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes, I know that we might have some listeners that might be interested in your love life. Tell us about it.
I mean, you have to be a little more specific, I guess. But in terms of the women here, obviously the women here in Colombia, and especially here in Medellin, I mean, obviously the first appearance, they're beautiful, right? But I think the main thing that attracts me to the Colombian women is their energy, right? I feel like they're very receptive. Like I feel like I can actually go out and have fun, like have a conversation, like, you know, really get into like vibing with them. And it's very reciprocative, like it's going back and forth. I think
when you say vibing with them, what does that mean?
So it's in terms of like the conversation, in terms of like the body language, I think is really important with me. Like they're a little more like touchy feely, like it's escalating, right? I mean, there's a certain point that escalates to something, right? But there's stages of it, and I feel like that in Colombia compared to the U.S., that the women here there's more of that kind of, you can say, I guess, foreplay in a way, right? Like there's a way of like, you know, escalating to a certain...
The flirting.
Yeah, flirting, exactly.
I actually thought when Andrew said, tell us about your love life, I thought he meant, do you actually, when you take your clothes off during sex, do you fold them up and put them in the corner? That's what I thought he meant. But anyways, so for you...
That's what I meant.
I don't know, that's to me, that's what love is, isn't it? You
No.
fold your clothes and put them neatly on a shelf.
What I was asking is... I guess we're drinking out of the
All
shower.
right, keep it going.
I'm rescuing
My
this
question to
conversation.
Drew...
No, wait.
No.
Stop the goddamn music. Let's continue
All
this
right,
dating.
so continuing on
Okay.
to... we're talking about...
Dating
and your experience with women out here.
Is it easier or better in here dating than in the United States? Compare and contrast. You know, they do that in high
Sure.
school.
It depends on what you're looking for, right? So I think the biggest thing here, like you're saying, is that girls that are, especially Colombian girls, they're attracted to opposites.
Okay.
And I think the same is with the U.S. Like the girls there are more attracted to something that's different than them.
Bullshit, Drew.
No,
I'm
I
going
don't
to cut
think
you
it's
on
bullshit.
that.
I don't think
Here's
it's
why it's bullshit. Because I should be knee deep in some pussy.
No, because there's
Hold on,
plenty
Drew.
of
If they are attracted, and excuse
Well,
my
okay,
language.
let's clear this up. They're interested in something that's different, that's not black.
Okay, good, fair.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
let's
Okay.
go on. Let's go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah. Anyways, so I think
Why won't you get into that, Drew?
I don't.
Why won't you get into that?
I don't
you have
think-
lived
Because he's
experience.
not fucking black. Stop grilling.
From the waist down. Anyways, but yeah. What the hell are you, a DJ now? You can't be drinking that often. No, okay. We bring this topic up because we think like when we're like, oh yeah, come to Medellin, the girls are great, everyone's open, there's whatever, there's a different experience for everyone. So you said that they like what's different. What is different? What do you think is different about you?
I mean, I think obviously first of all, the physical appearance, right? So like I said, blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin. The Colombian girls that are, you know, dark hair, a little bit tanner, like they're attracted to the opposite. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Like especially the girls I've dated, they've told me that they're attracted to opposites. They actually won't date Colombian guys, or they're not. It's just not just a physical appearance, but I guess
So tell us about. That's what I want to know about.
Yeah.
That's because me and Andrew, we talked about this yesterday, and actually my little brother. What is it beyond the physical that you think that a local girl, Colombian paisa, likes or has told you that's different than other people?
Oh man, that's a tough topic. 'Cause I mean,
It is.
I don't think I have an answer, right? It's not like there's a definitive answer, right? But I believe in what like I said, what my personal experience with dating Colombian girls is that especially the guys here, like foreigner guys, they treat them maybe a little bit more
Special?
not special, but they go above and beyond like what the normal guy does. They do things differently, right? It's like I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, cause I don't have an answer.
Explain it, Andrew. We talked about this yesterday.
I think I know how to explain it.
Right.
It's because I would never get a fucking 10 in.
Is that a in California?
In California, I would never get a 10. But I get a 7 here, and that's a 10 in California.
True.
And I would do anything for that 7 here. And anytime I go anywhere, I don't even have a girlfriend right now. But I was in Mexico with these guys, with my whole crew. I took my whole team out there. Joel and we took all our team out there. And every time I was in a gift shop, I was like, what would I get a girl? And I literally bought things for a girl that I would meet in Colombia. Because I know that I will meet that 7.
But is that your nature, though? Is that your nature in comparison to a Colombian guy? Would a Colombian guy do that? Would he think like that?
Maybe because he think about his mom. Like that's. I mean, when I go traveling, I think about my mom, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get her this. And if I had a girl, I'd probably think that way too as a Colombian guy. I can't speak for a Colombian guy, but as a emasculated fucking United States man, that's the way I think. I'm like, man, once I have this girl that I really love, I'm gonna give her everything. And it's going to be a 7.
So regardless of if she's a 7, 10, 3, or 2, 1, 0, or whatever, I think that, to be quite honest, and I've had several situations like this, I'm sure there's a lot of Colombian men that cook. But I think in terms of percentages, relative number, I would say that the foreigners coming here probably cook a lot more than the average Colombian guy. I would think that in terms of gift giving and the way that, so here's my take on it, and I encourage Colombian men to rebut and say that I'm wrong or say that I'm full of shit. But from what I've been told by Colombian girls, is a Colombian guy is accustomed to having his mom. His mom babies him till the end of time, and then he moves on from the mom and he adopts a girlfriend who becomes his mom in many ways. Sure, they have sex and they have whatever, but she becomes the caretaker of him. She does everything that the mom used to do for him. So and Colombian guys, and I'm not speaking about all, but a lot of guys, this is from the mouths of Colombian girls, they've been so mama's boyed to death that the guy basically finds a girl and he's looking for a girl to take the mom's place. I think much like the girls are very independent in the United States and Canada, so are the guys. And they're trained to be like that. They're trained to be like, yo, I need to cook, clean, wash dishes, whatever. Not all of them. But they come over here, and it's happened to me. You cook meals. You buy flowers. You send a cab for her. You do all these things. And you don't take, especially as Andrew was saying, call it a 7 here, would be a 10 in the US. So you're 7 and you get your 7, regardless of what it is, there's certain like common courtesies and things that you do that go way beyond that any guy would even think about doing here, right? And so I think I don't mean to throw my brother on the bus, but for a few nights ago, the girl that he was seeing, she started to throw up. And I looked at him, I'm like, you cleaned it up, didn't you? You cleaned everything up spotless. He goes, yeah. I go, she's gonna love you. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like he scoured the place. And the next day, she was that much closer. And I think that's the fucking difference. It's like the extent that you're willing to go to treat her more like a woman and not like your mom. And the guys here, and we can testify, the guys are much smoother talkers than us. They'll call them mi cielo, mi amor, my sky, my heart, all this stuff. Too. But when it comes down to actually what you're going to do for them and the way that they feel, I think like foreigners do go a bit above and beyond if they're like, call it regular folks. That's my take on it. Yeah. And I encourage anybody to agree or disagree.
Yeah, so I think it's a fair, it's a fair point. And especially when you're talking about, I think it's, going above and beyond, like just like this, the extra care, the extra intention. I think it's intention, right? Like, and it doesn't have anything to do with money. It really doesn't, because you can do these very same things with no money.
Right.
It's just the thought. Yeah. And I think that the Colombian girls I've dated with, they've appreciated the extra thought that I've brought to the relationship. Yeah. in terms of compared to the Colombian guys they've dated in the past.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Obviously, you've been here 4 years, at least. What's your worst dating experience?
Oh man, I don't have like a ton of bad dating experiences, but one of them that comes to mind is because one of the tools I guess you'd use here as a person that first comes to Medellin, first comes to Colombia is Tinder, right? So Tinder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tinder.
What is that?
What is Tinder? All right. Well,
What is the Tinder? It's not like a piece of
you
wood you
guys
use
can
to light a fire.
Google that. So
Wait, hold on.
So
Let me ask, Joel, how has your Tinder experience been in Colombia as a black fucking man? Not a black man, as a black fucking man. You are blacker than fucking night.
Wow.
11:59. I prefer 11. Like one minute.
Tell me
Speak
how
into the
has,
microphone, please.
how has your Tinder experience been here?
You see, it's all relative.
No, it's relative. That's why I'm asking you.
I've
Because
been
you're
on
fucking
a
black
few
as
dates.
shit.
I've been on a few dates.
Okay.
And it's nothing in comparison to my friends that are of a lighter complexion. Meaning, I would not get as many matches as they do. And I don't consider myself particularly ugly, nor do I consider
do they
myself...
think you're
I think
local?
you're
I
ugly.
mean, is that because they think you're Colombian and then because you're not different than?
I don't know, man. There's a very few black guys. with a beard.
I've had women stop me and ask me, without you knowing, ask me if you've had facial surgery. No, they have.
Because of my
and on
nose?
Tinder,
perfect.
you
You're
don't
too
do well.
perfect.
And and on Tinder, you don't do well
I don't do well.
because of your fucking
None of us do.
complexion.
I don't. None
Right?
of us. No.
Yeah.
You do well.
I mean, I think I get good matches in terms of like
You get matches.
All right, wait. Ladies, hold on a second. Hold the motherfucking
matches
second.
is a lot compared to what we get.
Okay, let me. So make sure we're not talking. Let's make
Hold
sure.
on.
Let's stop. Here's the next bit. This is going out live. If you had to have one date or one night with me, Drew, or Andrew, who would you choose? Me, Andrew, or Drew? Who would you
Or
choose?
this fucking light stand.
Yeah.
Or,
Light stand.
yeah. Because I know this would get more than me because I've been here long enough to know enough.
Yeah, I guess just leave a comment on the YouTube video because I don't know how are we going to run this pool.
Those are called. Yeah, but how fucking figure
Just
it out.
comment.
Okay,
Just
so anyway, we were saying.
Like, comment, and subscribe, please.
So
I
Andrew
know-
just
I-
wanted to-
I know
Andrew just
you-
Okay, go ahead.
I know your experience on YouTube and on YouTube on Tinder. I know your experience on Tinder.
Yeah.
I know my experience on
But I'm
Tinder.
not very active on Tinder, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm
because
active in my bed.
you
by
just go
myself.
on the fucking.
You have. I asked about the friends coming here and how much you tell them in terms of budget and stuff to like bring. What would your advice be? And I'm sure you're on these Facebook groups and all the other groups, and you see people commenting and talking a lot of good and bad shit. What would your advice be to these folks you see coming here and they're trying to like live for that 3 months to figure out if they want to stay here? What would you tell a foreigner trying to come here?
Sure, I think the first thing is get connected with the right people, right? So come here and go to events. And if you don't know of any people, you don't know anyone here, go to Facebook, look at the events that are going on for the day or for the week, and actually go to them. Like whether it be language exchanges, karaoke night, or whatever it is on go dance night, whatever it is, like go to these events, meet people, and actually like put yourself out there, be proactive, and meet people. Because all you do is make a few friends, and those friends are going to introduce you to more friends, and then all of a sudden you have a large network in a city that you've never been to before. So I think that's very important. I think two is actually learning the language. So if you're going to come to Medellin, I think you should speak more Spanish than English. So try to spend more time with locals than actually than foreigners, because otherwise you're not going to learn Spanish. I know.
Do you do that?
Absolutely. I spend more time with locals speaking Spanish than I do with foreigners that are speaking English.
Awesome.
I think as long as you have that 51-49 balance, as long as you have that
One tip's the scale.
as long as you have that side towards Spanish, I think that it'll benefit you, and that your Spanish will get much better.
And how do you suggest that? Because we have breakfast in Ihamiya Cafe a lot, and we meet a lot of people coming in and they're trying to learn Spanish. And anywhere you go here, you're going to meet foreigners.
Sure.
But how do you suggest getting that 51-49 balance of just being around more paisas and around more Colombian people?
Sure. I think the first thing is choosing the neighborhood you live in. I love Poblado. I've spent out of the two and a half years I've been in Medellin now, I've spent probably a year and a half in Poblado, between Poblado and La Frontera. But I also recommend Envigado. I really like Envigado. I really like Laureles. Just getting to the right neighborhood where you see less foreigners.
Okay.
I know at first it might be like a little bit like scary in a way, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like the only foreigner there, or less, I'll be the minority there. But I think if you really want to learn the language, you really want to get the true Colombian experience, you have to leave Poblado.
Yeah.
I guess last question: what's your favorite thing about Colombia?
We talked about the people. I think that, honestly, the people is for me, the people. It's what it is. Like the local people, the taxi, like you said, the taxi ride coming down from the airport, and just like that warm welcome. Like I honestly, as soon as I hit the taxi, like I feel welcome. I feel like I'm at home. The weather is beautiful. The women are amazing. The nature, like being able to have the Pacific coast, the Caribbean coast, the Amazon, the Andes Mountains, the islands. Like you have so much biodiversity in one country within an hour flight. It's absolutely like there's no other place like it.
So
I got another question.
Yeah, keep going.
How long will you be in Medellin?
That's exactly what I want to.
That's a good question. I think now I just did like I said, I just came back from a 2-month trip to explore Chile, Argentina just a little bit. Like I only went to the big cities. My goal is to be here at least the next year. Like I'm looking for an apartment right now, trying to find a long-term place. I want to build a studio like you guys have here to interview and talk to amazing people like you guys are doing, and to really plant some roots. Like I've been in Medellin long enough that I've realized the things I like and the things I don't like, and I'm finding kind of my comfort zone, and that's where I'm trying to kind of settle in.
So one of the things is, again, I mentioned this in previous shows. One of the advice the bit of advice that my dad gave me is, if you're gonna go to a country, don't go there looking for shit. Obviously, you can go there looking for wealth, for opportunities, or whatever. But what are you bringing here? And my question to you is,
what's your value?
Yeah. What's your, and it has to do with what his plan is. So. What's your big plan apart from getting in your comfort zone and meeting a beautiful girl and making some videos? Do you have a vision? Do you have what's your vision here in Colombia and in Medellin?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Medellin, and especially Colombia in general, there's so much opportunity for development, for opportunity, like in terms of like growing. And I think that like for me personally, like I want to help change that stereotype. That's the first step, I think,
of Colombians?
For both. Like I think for Colombians is it's part of it. But really is in general of like Colombia as a general in terms of a country, right? So I really want to tell the story of these ordinary people that make this place so incredible. And as well as like all the opportunities in terms of extraordinary, like the places, the people, the things that I fell in love with, right? And I think long term, I would love to create businesses here. I'd love to to invest in real estate, but also to give out people opportunities, to give people the same opportunities that I've had. I've been very fortunate. I've come from a good family. I went to a good school. Like, to also give back. I think that's really important for me, especially if I'm going to stay here long term. Is I want to actually give back and like show people that there's more out there than what they currently know, right? I feel like I've had that been fortunate enough to see the world and to travel and to experience different things. I want to be able to whether it be children or mothers. Like I did some social work in the city of Monitos on the coast, but like I want to do more work here in Medellin as well. And I feel like that more foreigners should do the same, especially if they're coming here long term. Like that they should learn the language, learn about the culture, and actually try to give back instead of just trying to take from it.
And you called yourself, you say like as part of your profile, you say that you're a storyteller.
Yeah.
You're telling the story. You're telling these stories of your experiences, of other people's experience, with the aim of what? What's the aim of the stories that you're telling?
I mean, just to tell from their point of view, just be authentic as possible. I think the biggest thing is like, for example, when I go to a village like what do you call it?
Brain blank, trust me, it's the rub.
Barichara. So I went to Barichara, and it's like just doing like Instagram videos with like the store owners there, and like telling them about the craft, like how they made this hat or how I made this bag, or or talking about hormigas culonas, which is like the big ass ants, and it's like sharing those cultures. Like I think that when if a Colombian were to do the same thing that we're doing, it wouldn't be as interesting, right? But
sorry,
because
so I'm gonna cut you for a second.
yeah,
It wouldn't be as interesting. So what I'm really trying to get to is the why. So yes, it's interesting. Drew, this guy from the US, is making these videos. Why? What? How does that serve the world? It has to be. There has to be a deep why that's driving you.
Sure.
So you want to show the world Colombia. Why do you want to show
There's
the
a
world
reason
Colombia?
why you're
What?
here.
Why is that? Why are you showing the world Colombia? Who gives a fuck about?
Yeah, nobody
your
cares
view?
about fucking Colombia. First of all, nobody cares about Colombia.
yeah.
I
So-
mean, we're talking about like war-torn countries like Slovenia, fucking Afghanistan, all these.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
But why
about
is it
Colombia.
that? Why do you?
Why
why
are you an advocate for Colombia? And I honestly, I love that the fact that you are here.
But what is it?
But what is it?
What is
that's
it? Why?
driving
What do you want to
this?
show? So that's what I'm trying to get to. What are you trying to show? Not only why you, but what are you trying to show? And what is the purpose? Okay, so you've shown me, I get onto your channel, you're speaking Spanish, you've shown me the guy in Barichara, you've shown me the family. Why are you doing that? Why do you want to do that?
For me, the biggest thing is to really, I want to build an audience here in Colombia, and to really, and to be able to use that and to be able to share a positive message, right? To show because I believe that so many people, when they think about Colombia, they think about a negative stereotype, and I really want to help change that into a positive stereotype, right? So, I mean, long term, right? I want to build a network here. I want to create, to create businesses, to create opportunities, but at the same time, I want to actually show people that same love that I have, and to help share that to not only the Colombians, but also the foreigners as well.
And if you did that, and if you achieved that, if you achieved showing people are on there, we love this, what would they do? What would be done by them seeing that love and feeling that? Because, okay, I'm going to answer your question because I'm asking you the question.
Sure.
A lot of times I would only post, and it happened to me. You remember that photo with the lightning coming down? I posted a photo. And this guy got on. He's like, oh, that's not Medellin. That looks like Las Vegas. That blah, 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 blah. It was Andrew. It was a troll account.
I was a troll.
And it was a troll. And I mentioned to him, I said, listen, there's so many people trying to make a buck or trying to get famous off of showing poor people and bad neighbors in Colombia. I just want to show good. So why did I want to show good is because I think that the media is skewed to one side, as you were talking about.
Yep.
How do you make money from something?
Absolutely.
Right? And so the media wants to keep Colombia as narco-central. Right? The media wants to keep Colombia as this, come here for like narco tourism. And I want to show that there's more. Because I remember years ago, to friends and family that are watching this, when I said I was in Colombia, they're like, oh, drugs, oh, this, oh, that. And that's the first thing they would say.
Yeah.
And I think if I were I'm asking you the question because I'm going to answer it, is that what I would like to show is that there are humans here, like humans of New York. There are people here just like me and you. There are people here that are facing adversity. There are people here that are hustling, and they're human just like you. And not just because you hear the word Colombia, you have to say some ignorant shit because we love this place. And what I'm saying, so what is the why is more than just you building a following. You're building a following, man, but the why has to be more about, and I'm sure that's what it is, you just didn't answer it, is showing other people, I'm sure you've heard the same ignorant comments, that there's more to this place than drugs and fucking donkeys.
Absolutely. I mean, my true why is I wanted to show the extraordinary people, places, and things.
Okay.
That is like the core belief I want to show, and I always want to show the positive side, right? Like I feel like too many people, like you said, the media and even Colombians abroad, they focus on the negative, right? And I want to show the positive, right?
Yeah.
So I do the best I can, and I'm trying to continue to grow that, to expand upon that.
And your
but
YouTube channel is?
just Drew Crawford, my name.
Drew Crawford.
So, closing comments.
Okay.
What are the positives of Medellin, in your opinion?
Apart from the people.
So apart from the people, I think the weather. I mean, the weather for me, coming from Michigan, a place where it's 4 seasons and it snows 3-4 months a year, and like Canada, you guys know the same. Like, not Southern California. I mean, you guys give us have a good. But the weather, obviously, I mean, the women are beautiful. The food, I actually really like the food. Most people will hate on Colombian food.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's not like I'm eating bandeja paisa every day. It's like, but I eat healthy, and it's affordable, and I feel like it's like some of the freshest food. Like year round, you're gonna have fresh fruits and vegetables. You're not gonna get that anywhere else. like I go down to Chile and Argentina, and like those places, they import everything from countries like Colombia.
Really?
Just because they most of the stuff they don't produce themselves, or they only produce it at a certain time of the year. So it's like, and it's really expensive too. It's like, so Colombia, like you can eat, of course there's fried empanadas and all that kind of stuff, but you can eat really good for less. I think the nature, as well as like just having the biodiversity of the 2 different coasts, the mountains, the Amazon. For me, it's like this is a complete package. Like,
has your family visited you?
Not yet.
Why is that?
I think one of the reasons is, so my dad has his own business.
What's your dad's business?
7-Eleven. He's owned a 7-Eleven store for 20 years. Yeah.
Yo,
free Slurpees for life.
Slushies.
Free for life.
No, free
Slushies?
fucking tacos or burritos.
Taquitos.
Burritos. The 7-Eleven burritos are the best.
Taquitos or burritos? What do they have?
Not sponsored by 7-Eleven.
They have slushies. The
Slurpees.
Okay,
Slurpees.
well, regardless.
Slurpees.
Okay, regardless.
So yeah, between that and my mom has a job as well, and my grandparents are a little bit older, so it's at some point they've always expressed interest in coming to visit, and I hope I know my mom's watching this for sure.
Are they scared about it?
No, I think they've gotten over the point. I've made it this far, so I think they have enough confidence.
And they feel safer now that you have the mustache and the beard. They probably feel like
we're working on the beard. I have the mustache and working on the beard.
No, he's got a beard, Mom.
No, but we'd love, man, when they come down here, we'd throw them in here.
We
on
love
the show
Drew.
too.
You know, I remember when I first met you, I thought you were a kindred spirit, and I think we are.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. It's been fun.
For sure. Yeah.
That's just
Thank
not
you
the
for being
alcohol
on.
speaking. You're actually a kindred.
Yeah.
Thank you. No,
you
I
are a
appreciate
kindred
it.
spirit.
Yeah.
I've always appreciated you guys. I mean, that's one of the things, like Medellin, I talk about the locals being the people, but also the foreigners and the expat community here. I think is great. And like these guys, like taking me out to karaoke and drinking aguardiente. Like I remember Andrew, like I remember like we had a half bottle of aguardiente, and like him just like pouring it down my throat, right? And like this being so friendly with offering it though, it's like just being the offering of something that I bought, and I want to share it with everyone that's here with me. Like I think that's a very Medellin, Colombian thing. And
it's kind of like a misery loves company.
Let's get the misery. But wait, hold on. Before we dip off to where you can find us and all that shit, we just got an hour more on this. No, I know like Felipe is trying to cut this off or whatever, but honestly, man, we love having people on the show that want to do positive things for this country.
And he does positive things.
And he does positive
in
things.
his life.
Exactly.
I think in his life. It's not anywhere that Drew goes, it's not going to be Colombia, it's not going to be Thailand, it's not going to be China. Anywhere he goes, and Drew's mom, you know, as much as I know, that this guy's a fucking positive man.
You don't have to swear at his mom.
No, sorry.
She's okay. She'll
he's
figure it out.
as positive as you can be. And we appreciate you being on this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on here. Anyway, we're doing this giveaway, and I think it's going to be given away before we even go live.
Yeah.
But you could find us on Spotify. You could find us on YouTube. You could find us on
Apple
Google,
Podcasts.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, and what was that other thing I was talking about? Castbox, yeah.
Instagram, and the Facebook page. And if you'd like to find us on tinyurl/4YYJ. Okay, no, fuck it. But you can find us on most channels. Just look up Medellin Podcast.
You failed twice.
Medellin. And I did fail a lot. And I just want Drew as slowly as possible so people can understand where they can follow you, where they can see the work that you're doing in Colombia. Where can they find you? In Spanish.
Yeah, absolutely. Would
you want to say it in Spanish? Say it in Spanish, Drew. Let's hear that accent, bro.
Bueno. Entonces, si ustedes les gustaría seguirme, tengo mi página de YouTube que dice como Drew Crawford, pero también en Hola Drew in Instagram. And also I do interviews with entrepreneurs, which I would actually love to have you guys on the show as well, which is amu.com, which is omwu.com. Just kind of telling the stories of entrepreneurs and how they've arrived to the point where they are. Because I know you guys have done a lot here, and I really respect you guys building a business here in Colombia. And I think that's really interesting as well. So between those three, I always like to meet other like-minded people. So if anything that we talked about, or if you have any questions or anything that's resonated with you, please feel free to send me a message, because I'm always I always like to connect with like-minded people.
And listen, from the point of local, I think it's awesome that you've found such a richness of content. Like you've come here and you've been like, oh, this is something that is worth sharing, that is worth speaking about. And I think that one, that speaks volume to your character, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And two, I can be cynical, and people who know me know that I'm a little bit cynical and jaded, but I also can appreciate when someone is doing something good for me and other people in this country. So I'm grateful that you have felt such a profound experience here, and it's awesome. And I hope that you can keep having that experience, and you can keep finding awesome things here in Colombia, and I hope that you can keep sharing them.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. We love you, Colombia. We love you, Medellin. We love you, Drew. That's the heart symbol in case no one knew what the fuck I was doing. Right? We love all of you. Thanks for watching. Watch out for episode 15 and
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Great fucking podcast.